who has developed a unique visual language, Edwin Vasquez offers the Antelope Valley a breath of fresh air with his photography and vibrant mixed media work. Using mostly recycled materials, including toys, wood panels, and chains, Vasquez is able to communicate his ideas, inspirations, and frustrations. Vasquez's work is fearless in its social commentary, using rich forms and colors to provoke passionate responses to his ideas around the environment, waste, and human nature. Also, he is a photojournalist, published author, and videographer, and he was born in Guatemala. I invited him to speak to us because he is super active in the art community locally, and it's amazing how much is going on up here. We wouldn't know that. And I just wanted for him to share about that community and how we can be a part of that as well. Because as photographers, we are artists. And without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Thank you. Is it on?
Yeah.
Thank you very much for having me. Thank you, Kathy, for the invitation. This is the first time I will be talking about my photography. One, two. I came into the Antelope Valley 26 years ago from Los Angeles area. And the first thing I asked was, is there a museum, a gallery, or a place where artists meet? And I asked a lot of people, and somebody said, well, there's a museum by Sierra Highway. So I went there immediately. I didn't ask if we have churches, we have schools. I wanted to know if there's a museum. So there they sent me to the Art Association. That was one of the buildings over here, the Boulevard, and now it's a mall theater. And so happy I joined immediately. Once there, I asked the artist there if somebody was documenting those paintings and their stories, because there was a lot of older people there that were studying with masters. They had this craft that I haven't seen before in Los Angeles. And to my surprise, nobody was doing anything like that. So I went to the city hall. I talked to somebody there, and I asked if I could get a camera from the city that I could use. They can loan me the camera so I can start documenting those art pieces and get the stories behind them. And the answer was, we don't have any money for that. We're not, we don't have money for that kind of thing. We're talking about 30 years ago. And I was 26 years old when I got here. And so, to this day, a lot of those artists pass away. Some of them moved to the other states, and the art is basically lost. So we lost a big generation of artists that we could have in our records as part of the Antelope Valley history, as part of Lancaster, and instead it's gone. So when I was able, I got a camera and started taking pictures of the members. And I started, every time I had the opportunity, I was going to the schools, to churches, to places where they have events, and the newspaper was not coming because they were, not interested in that kind of events. And so my interest in the community is very important. We have to document our community because, there's so many people creating so many wonderful things in here that we're not aware of. We only are aware of when somebody from outside comes in and they do something that was already done here for years, and they give them the city keys, and they congratulate them. But the people who actually are doing the thing here for years and years, they don't get those opportunities. And that's where we artists, photographers, have the opportunity to document those things. And it's super important that we think about the uses we have, because we have a camera, and this is a tool that is very powerful because we can preserve our history. I grew up in Guatemala, and in Guatemala, if you go, they have records of almost everything. Everywhere you go, there's always people documenting, taking notes, taking pictures, taking all these kind of things that if you want to know about an artist, there's record of it. But if you go over here and ask, can I see any of the records of the people that were here before me? There's very few. Okay, so that's the importance of documenting the community. Because a lot of the people that know who I am, they follow me on Facebook, Instagram. I do a lot of art shows. I visit a lot of art shows, and I go to the Lancaster Museum, and they allow me to come over and take pictures of the pieces, any piece I want, because I've been going there for 20 years, and every time they see it, they know the reason I'm doing that is because we want to document that for the museum, for the city if it's required. And a couple of years ago, I joined an adventure with Casey Driver. He is the founder of AV Media, and he invited me to be part of it. And so we have, I don't know, probably over 70,000 photographs of events that happen in our community. And he has videos of almost everything that you can imagine. So if anybody one day needs something, they can go to Casey, they can come to me, and we can provide you guys with the documentation. The AV Media is for, as I said before, is for the community. We go to schools, we go to churches, to events where the regular press don't go. And so today we have here with us Bob. He is one of the amazing people that I recently met. We became friends. He's doing that as well. He's having a company. He just built a company. He's going to be documenting this type of events that we would like to keep here for future generations. And so I'm glad that he came over to document this. And this is what I'm talking about. This is the stuff that we need to keep in our records. I put a little demonstration with the and
yeah, that's the.
okay.
Yeah.
That's the
right.
The forward will be the right.
Yeah.
Okay, this photograph. This photograph was taken a couple of years at the cultural event they do every September. And it's 1 year in Poundal, it's 1 year in Lancaster. And they invited me to come over and take some pictures, and I captured this image of the lady. And she's a belly dancer. She's a well-known belly dancer in our community. And so she was very happy with the photograph. She said, thank you for documenting this. I never actually had one of my photographs. And so she was very happy with that. So the festival, anybody can go and document and take pictures. There's costumes, there's a lot of stuff that you also, if you're interested in cultural events, that would be the perfect place to go. I like faces. For some reason, I'm drawn to take pictures of faces, and so that's the perfect place to go. It is public, so you don't have to ask permission to take pictures. This is my friend Floyd Nicole Davis. She is going to be a poet laureate of the United States one day. Her poetry is so powerful that every time she does something, hundreds of people come from everywhere. And she's local. She lives in Port Hill. People all over the world know who she is. Here in our area, only a few people know who she is. And she's a teacher, she's a mentor. And this one, I rented a warehouse to do a show for photographs. And so I ended up doing a mixed media show, and she came and did this wonderful presentation. It was a collaboration between her and a couple of her friends. And so they did an installation that was very breathtaking, and she was playing with wax, and I said, can I take your photographs? So I took a lot of the photographs, and she has used some of those for her projects. This gentleman right here, we have been friends for a long time. I was invited to go to Los Angeles. They have the art fair in Los Angeles. And he was talking about his new project that is going to happen. He's going to build a museum where he's going to have all the Chicano art in there. And he's going to be, I think it's, I'm not sure if it's in Pomona or one of the areas in the east side. But he was inviting everybody, anybody that wants to make a donation or donate a painting or do something to make that happen. And so, being a photographer have allowed me to have access to these kind of individuals that, otherwise would be impossible to. This one, the gentleman is standing, is artist Julius Isman. He painted a mural in Sierra Highway by the school district. As part of how well he was sponsored by the Lancaster Museum and the city of Lancaster. People from all over the world came in to paint murals, and he was selected as one of the local artists. And, I asked him, can I take your picture? And he immediately posed, So when you become friends with artists and you need models to take pictures of, they immediately, allow you to take pictures, and you can tell them, hey, sit down, or, do whatever. And that's how you make those good connections. And so that was a very good photograph, and the museum wanted to have a copy, and they have a copy. This is the artist Martha Pont. She was a professor of French in the Navy College, and she became an artist. And about 10 years ago, she visited the studio of my friend Warren Sherry, and she discovered that she was really good at painting. And now she is one of the most successful artists from the Antelope Valley. Her next show is going to be happening very soon, and it's going to be curated by Dr. Betty Brown, who is one of the most foremost people in the art world, but it's also one of our local. And this one was in a poetry festival. She painted her face, and I said, can I take your picture? And agreed, and she's very happy with the picture. I'm very happy with that. But also because we're, our contacts here in the Antelope Valley. There's another lady from the festival, the festival they do in Lancaster and Palmdale once a year. And it was very hard for me to take her picture. She didn't want to. She's a Japanese lady. She was very embarrassed. Every time I wanted to take a picture, she covered her face. And finally her husband said, he felt like, okay, and then she allowed me to take one photograph. That was it. And so, and I'm not a professional photographer. I always carry with me. I'm one of those photographers that shoot on the go, automatic everything, and then I go home and put it on my programs and fix and make it look decent. Mr. Eddie Edwards is also known as Snake Pit Eddie. He is one of the most famous artists, jazz masters that used to live here in our community. Recently moved to Mexico, and he's living life over there. This one was his farewell party. He's an amazing musician that probably you saw performing in small places, but the list of the people that he played with is unbelievable. He even played with Whitney Houston and all these kind of people. And he was right here, very nice person. Every time you ask him, can I take a picture? He was like, yeah, no problem. And so as photographers, that's one of the things that we have to do, connect with people. Once they know that they can trust us, they allow us to do that kind of things. And so when we always miss this photograph, I was invited to take photographs at Edwards Air Force Base. I was the only person allowed to have a camera in that area. That's the flight line. That's where they have all the planes, and you cannot have cameras there. But I had an email from the base, and I came over and I documented that. This particular picture impressed me a lot. The gentleman don't have legs and one arm, and he finished the race. And then there's a lot of people out there that they don't want to get out of the couch because they don't have a reason to leave. And there's this gentleman right here trying and showing that life continues. This picture was purchased by Lee Army, who recently passed away. When he saw that picture, said, "I want that for me." So I printed that picture and gave it to him, and he gave me one of his books. But that's the power of photography. When you capture an image like that give you a reason to say, wow, we photographers really have a powerful tool that we can capture something good. This one was taken in New York City. We took our daughter to college, and we went to the New York Exchange. And as I was walking, there were thousands of people, but I saw this image, and my first instinct was to take a picture. So I just threw myself on the floor, took a bunch of pictures with my camera, and got my cell phone, and I took a couple pictures. And as I'm doing that, the police start coming towards me, and then I stand up and I show my camera, and they go, "Oh, okay, you good." Because they're very serious right now. You cannot do anything like I just did. I just threw myself on the floor to capture a picture, which to me is a powerful picture. These the kids right there, they're with their cell phones taking pictures and selfies, and yet we have a homeless sleeping with his back to the rest of the world with the economy it thrives. So I took a picture from New York on my social media. 5 minutes later, somebody from the gallery in Pomona called me and said, "Can you take that picture out, please? We want to show you in a show in Pomona." And I said, "Sure." So I took the picture down, and what I did, I printed the picture. It's against the wall. I enlarged it with foam cloth, and that's how I presented the photograph. But the social media has a lot of power. In less than 5 minutes, somebody in California saw the picture, and they already asked me that they want to show that photograph. And that was not my intention, but I was able to show something good in that gallery. This one, Mr. Biden, he came over he was the one of the speakers in Harvard on my son's graduation. And as you can imagine, there were a lot of people out there with security, and you were not able to approach him. But once again, I had a camera, and I was dressed properly. Presentation is super important when you go to events like that. So when I came in with a camera, I was able to get close, and I took at least, maybe 40 photographs. And one of them, he is pointing at me and said, "That better be good." And he started laughing, and I was scared, like, okay. I said, "Yes, sir." And so, but without a camera, I wouldn't be able to have access to those kind of people. There's no way I would have it. But I always carry the camera with me because that's a very powerful tool that we have. Mr. Willie Nelson, he came in here to Lancaster to perform. I was the only photographer allowed to take his photograph. And the only reason being is because I'm friend with his son, and I asked him, any chance I can take his photograph? And he goes, "Yeah, sure." So after he finished his singing, brought me to the front. I took like 5-6 photographs of him, and I sent him a copy, and I'm still waiting for to tell me thank you for that. But I was very happy with those photographs, and so I always carry the camera with me, and I advise you guys to bring your camera or bring your phone because it's super important. You never know when you're going to capture a good image. That's the other image there. That one is I was on the air show that we just had 2 years ago, I believe. This year, I don't think we're gonna have a show. It's gonna be next year, I believe it's gonna be in Edwards Air Force Base. Make sure you guys, if you like that kind of photograph, and ask permission in advance, ask if you guys can go to the base and take photographs. That would be a great experience, and you can capture some good images. In the photographs, I saw a bunch of the prints. A lot of people are asking for those prints. This one is in the Kennedy Library. I've been collecting or taking pictures of the American flag. Everywhere I go, as an American, it's one of the symbols that I really love to photograph. And this one, when I took it in color, they didn't like it. I took one in black and white, and it was a good image. This one is at the Brown Museum. If you've been there, the main entrance on the wall is glass, so anything on the other side has a good reflection. Unfortunately, the photograph doesn't look that well, but that one was taken with my cell phone. And I don't like that, just maybe over there I will paint it. This is spec. Recently we had a show here in the MOA Theater. This gentleman brought his dog because he wanted to see the show that he's been spending 2 years painting. Well, the dog came in to see the show, they brought him in, and 2 days later the dog passed away. So I took the picture, and when I found out that the dog passed away, I asked a friend to print something nice for me, and I gave it to him as a thank you for allowing us to have his show here in the area. So, you never know when you're going to get a good photograph. This is Francis Bacon. It's in downtown Los Angeles. It's a mascot of a gallery called The Hive. If you've never been there, I highly suggest it. It is a gallery where they have hundreds of artists showing in a small piece of places, and you can see a lot of different kind of art. And that dog is basically the mascot. And so I entered that in a competition in Tehachapi 2 months ago, and he got an honorable mention. And that one was taken with my cell phone. Mr. Simmons, he came over to the business conference a couple years ago, and I always admire him for his business skills. What I didn't know that he is fluent in almost 7 languages, and when I talked to him, he recognized my accent and he started speaking with me in Spanish. We talked with him for 10 years, and he told me that one of the greatest things he did in his life was being a mentor. He was a teacher before he became the famous singer. And so he said, speaking languages is wonderful. And I asked him, why so many? And he says, well, I want the money from those people. And if I'm going to do business with them, I need to learn their language so they know I'm serious about doing business with them. But it was a nice experience. And once again, he said the business conference happens every year. And people are allowed to go in and take photographs, but you have to ask permission for it. Ai Weiwei, I don't know if you know who that person is. He is one of the most famous artists in China who has been incarcerated and has been, persecuted for hundreds of people just chasing him around, their cameras in front of his house. And finally he's allowed to leave China, and he is one of the most powerful artists. He's what is called conceptual artist. And so I drove from my house all the way to Beverly Hills, where he was doing the book signing, and I asked if I could take his picture. And so the lady who was there said, no, you cannot. And I speak to him in English. I said, Mr. Weiwei, do you mind if I take his picture? And he just nodded, and so I took his picture, and he brought me to him, and we took a picture I took a picture with him. And so he was, as a photographer, never take no for an answer. It's important, if you don't ask, you never know. And for me, taking a picture with this gentleman, it represents a lot because he speaks against the people who doesn't have power or doesn't have a voice. And he's not afraid of losing his life for what he believes. And so when I asked him if I could take his picture, he understood that I have the same resilience as he does, because that's what he does, and that's what he projects. This is a model that came into to Lancaster. She's probably 16 now. Once again, very, very nice kid. Her parents go with her everywhere, and he allowed me to take her photograph. That's Casey Driver, that he is the co-founder of AV Media, where we have documented the community for many, many years now. So this is AV Media, and look what we have. This one, it was, I believe, it was in the Science Museum, and it was a funny picture for me because religion meets science, and I never thought I could see a monk having a laugh with that kind of sculpture. And so, this is one of the things that really bothers me a lot, is to see all the trash that people are leaving everywhere in our community. A lot of people this year is talking about how wonderful the poppies are blooming everywhere, but nobody's talking about how much trash it is in those poppies. So I went and took pictures of the trash were surrounded with poppies and all the damage that we are creating in our environment. And there's another one right there, you can see that's before it will start blooming. And so those are the things that I really like to bring to life when I take pictures. I think that's the power that we have as photographers to bring conscience to what we are doing to our environment. Okay, that is a box, perfect box. And I went to see that area later on. The complete box was full of flowers, so it looks like a gift box. That was before the mountains behind are the poppy fields, and there was a lot of trash out there. Unbelievable. And that's their end result. And that's somebody took a picture of me. So that's it. So those are some of the photographs that I've taken. And one of the reasons Kathy invited me today was to talk about how technology is helping, especially the young generation, to be out there and promote themselves. I use a lot. My phone is. I have this video gadget out here. I don't know if you've seen it before. It's called a stylus. And what it is, when they don't allow me to come in with my camera, I just flip it on, and they're basically the little lenses. I have 4 lenses, from micro to fisheye. And so very, very, very neat. It's probably now it's like about $50. I bought it when I was 150, but it has to capture a lot of good photographs. And when I take a picture with this, I have on my phone. I have several applications that you can buy in your phone. The ones I use are Darkroom, Snapseed, Visco, InLight, and Vision. Those are some of the applications. I wrote it down there if somebody is interested. I took a picture of the poppies that you saw there, and I hit it with my phone, and about 2 minutes later somebody said, I want to buy that image, can I buy it? I said, sure, it's shipping and handling. I took about 2 minutes to take a picture and put it all together, and I already made $25. I sent it to the lady. She's very happy. She's from other states, and is in New Jersey. But that's the power of using the social media. So what I learned from photography, I learned in YouTube. I don't know if you guys have go visit YouTube for the video that they have. YouTube has some of the most wonderful videos where you can learn about photography, you know, about art, about history, about a bunch of things. But for me, that I never had the opportunity to take formal classes in photography, that's where I go. And there's so many people there that you can follow, and they become your friends once you start following them. and really use those tools for, you know, for your own growth. And I brought some samples of some of my work that you can see there. And if you have any questions, I think that's all I have. If you have any questions or you want to know anything, please let me know. I'll answer whatever you want to know. And if you don't have any questions, I want to thank you, Kathy, for your time.